Right now I'm working in one HIVI, like it's a student, as a student assistant. And yeah, it's from a research model with one of my professors, so maybe there is an opportunity to afterwards make a PhD or something like this. It was, yeah, not super easy, but not that hard that I imagined before, because yeah, I just received the email from active students, and then I just made my resume and sent it to my professor. Then I had an interview, and after the selection process, they contact me and they explain me everything. So it was easy, and they also ask you whether you speak German or English, and then yeah, they adjust to you. So I find it quite nice.
So if you're looking for a job in Thuringia, then I wouldn't say that it's super easy, because I think a lot of the advertisements that I checked always wants knowledge of German.
Also es ist sehr einfach, einen Nebenjob hier in Deutschland zu finden und mehr in Schmalkalden, weil es eine kleine Stadt ist, nicht so viele Studierenden gibt. Und es ist sehr, sehr einfach. Für mich war es viel einfacher, da ich meine Deutschfähigkeiten habe, diesen Job an der Hochschule zu finden. Ich helfe eigentlich einfach so Studenten, wenn die Fragen haben, entweder auf Englisch oder auf Deutsch. Aber für jemanden, der nicht so gute Deutschfähigkeiten hat oder besser auf Englisch ist, gibt es auch viele, viele Möglichkeiten. Zum Beispiel Nachhilfe für Schüler auf Englisch, also in englische Fächer oder auch Englischunterricht.
So I would like to stay in Germany, and I want to get a job here, maybe in crisis communication or PR, or yeah, also data science could be, but I guess more in digital marketing too. So I already searched for some jobs.
I want to settle in Europe, not completely settle, but yeah, maybe for 10 or 20 years I want to stay in Europe. Most probably Germany. After that I'm planning to go to India.
Yeah, I definitely want to stay here in Germany if I can find a job. Yeah, that's so far my plan, but I'm not sure whether maybe in 5 or 10 years, maybe I will travel to somewhere else, and yeah. But for now, I want to stay in Germany.
It's a nice thing here in Germany that you can have the possibility to have these mini jobs with flexible schedule, with flexible shift, and you can also have this vertical student possibility because it's a nice thing to have this income when you are a student. And it's a nice thing also that the schedules are really flexible, so you can have the chance to study and also work, and I appreciate that. I have long-term plans here in Germany. I would like to stay. I know that I need to learn the language, but yeah, I'm confident that I will find my dream job here because I want to stay here.
I am not too sure about that because I had heard from some people it's not that hard, but some people say it's really hard, especially for international students. So I hope that I can find that easily. Yeah.
Ich habe momentan 2 Jobs, die ich also unverzüglich, muss ich sagen, gefunden habe. Also es ist sehr, sehr einfach und die Möglichkeiten sind sehr, sehr umfangreich.
There is statistics that in the beginning of the studies not so many international students have the fixed plan to stay in Germany, but just at the end of the studies they are, how to say, familiar with the culture, with the language, with the surrounding, and often they just are on job search, just minimal to get the first job experience also in Germany, and this is also supported by the residence law. Students who graduate in Germany have the the option to then directly after graduation switch to a job-seeking visa for 18 months. And this is the time you have to find a job. And the amount of students who is interesting to stay for a while, for longer, for all the time in Germany is growing while studies, and especially in the technical fields, well-skilled staff is really wanted in Germany, and there's usually not so many problems to get the job, but it depends a little. Yeah, it depends on your personal experience. It depends on how you just convince the company, and in this matter, it makes sense to use, how to say, some information by career services, get information how the German labor market is working, how to write an interesting and good CV, how to make a good motivation letter. You get information on that, you get guidance on that, one hand by institutions in the government in Thuringia, but other hand usually at the universities.
It's true. You can read on internet that Germany has like this shortage from professional and technical employees. Like has this possibility for people to outside to come here. It's true.
When you go to academic professions, then the most demanded professions are IT, of course, and that's a global problem. And then you have technical professions, engineering, and that comes. So it depends on each region what are needed. So as I told you before, each cluster they have a special need of qualified workers, and on those places then. There are different type of persons needed, of qualified workers needed.
Yeah, of course, biomedical
Yes, of
studies, chemistry, these all are quite required.
It has like big companies here, and well, for example, Jena is also known as Lichtstadt, the city of light, because they are focused on research areas of lasers, optical devices, photonics, and even precision devices. So around Jena, there is another big companies and another cities that you can find more companies that they are specialized in building electronics for cars.
The majority of companies are small and medium enterprise. It means it's in a lot of cases also such small family enterprises, which is from one hand really good because you, as a new employee, you are really warm welcomed and you will be always supported. From the other hand, such small enterprises could be quite traditional, and it's not so easy to get in as a foreigner or as a new person as well.
Well, something that surprised me, but it was not immediately when I arrived here, it was when I was looking for my internship, is how competitive the English positions are. If you don't know German, I think that you will have a little bit of trouble because the English language companies, they are really competitive in those aspects. So I think that for having things more easygoing, not so hard, it's better to have a proper knowledge of the language.
Finding jobs without the language is a challenge, and especially those jobs that the students do requires a minimum German. So that's a challenge. And finding internships in the region without German is also difficult.
Thuringia has a lot to offer when it comes to jobs, but one of the obstacles is, of course, German language. And we say it even for the branches where you have English-speaking colleagues or English-speaking directions in general, you still the working language is German. It means all contracts, law, regulations, they are in German. So it's the country has official one German language. It's not like everything is double translated. This is the main challenge, yeah. As more interesting as a person you are, as more multitasking you are or multi-skilled, the more required you will be on the market. And of course it comes also to languages, not only German language, but also English or your maybe native will be required.
You can learn also qualifications that are demanded. Programming, for example, or other languages, soft skills, Excel. So many people nowadays work only with Excel. And that's something that you don't learn in the university. Also, knowing how to drive, so the recognition of your driving license, sometimes open some jobs. And those details are important. So it's not only the degree that you will need, it's also soft skills and also other skills that you need.
I have seen that there is a lot of possibilities for the IT departments and software development. So I would like to know that, because then I will focus my time to learn one programming language or app development, and maybe that will help me in the past to make more easier my looking for the internship.
Your skills to search, it's also important. That basically what we learn in all universities, in academia, you learn how to deal with information. And nowadays we have a lot of vacancies, vacant places, open positions, but there are the matching. It's not always easy to organize, or we ask us also in our work why this matching does not take place, because people in this flood of information sometimes don't know how to sort information, how to filter it, how to search, what are keywords for searching. So even knowing your profession is important, because you study a field, but you don't really make thoughts about what will be my profession, who I want to be. So also to get to know yourself is important, to get to know yourself from the professional perspective.
Yes, so as my colleague, as Nastia said, the language is always the key to get a job.